normally you would have a group of lawyers from all across the agencies that actually would make these determinations. Trump did away with that at the beginning of this administration. So it's unclear what type of legal advice Trump was getting. Congress must see the underlying intelligence about how they were in direct threat, but as of right now, I have not seen that.
You're arguing that after 46 years of the Iranian regime killing Americans, threatening Americans, saying over and over and over again, death to America, that maybe they were just, didn't mean it, that they're fiery but mostly peaceful Iranian butchers? I mean, I don't understand. This is a righteous struggle.
Republican Scott Jennings is making fun of CNN for overreacting. Again, this time, it's because CNN would rather pretend Iran isn't a threat than admit that Trump was right. And when Trump forces the media to face the truth, they always choose to ignore it. Welcome to NERC News. I'm Jordan. CNN is upset once more, and it's all because Trump made the right call again. When a strong leader takes clear action, the media loses control. For years, they've called Trump chaotic. But now that he carried out a precise strike on Iran, they're suddenly worried about proper behavior. These same people said nothing when Obama quietly gave Iran cash, but now they're all about rules and processes. Here's Scott Jennings explaining why Trump's leadership is nothing like what the media wants you to believe.
I mean, the fact is we have a strong president, a decisive president, and the most lethal military in the world, and there's a huge difference between what's going on in Iran right now and what happened in Iraq over 20 years ago. So I think having J.D. Vance out is great. I think having Marco Rubio out is great. I think the president bringing his whole national security team out and showing that, you know, the entire government here was operating in lockstep with great precision, great resolve, and the execution of this was flawless. It ought to give the American people, you know, a lot of confidence in the competence in our government right now as compared to what we had in previous administrations.
Here, and the implications of this is that they do escalate, they do attack Americans abroad, and that we end up seeing a back and forth and war moving forward.
This is not an escalation. This is a de-escalation.
Well, Trump promised escalation.
This is not
Trump promised escalation.
Ever Iranian bunker busting bombs is not an escalation.
Because what she said President Trump promised us peace. I ask you, can we have peace if Iran has a nuclear weapon?
Well, we had a deal, and
you're litigating the past.
I'm not litigating the past.
Can we have peace if they have a nuclear weapon?
We had a deal. He's trying to get back into that deal. And he withdrew from that.
They were violated.
And not only that, now he's trying to have another deal.
Bribery and appeasement does not work with terrorism.
This is the part the media can't twist. Trump's strike wasn't wild or dangerous. It was a clear message. 3 important Iranian nuclear sites were hit using B-2 bombers. No American soldiers were harmed. And Iran's weak response was easily stopped. That's not starting a war. That's showing strength. Now compare that to Obama, who begged Iran for a deal, sent them $1.7 billion in cash, and still got mocked. The media didn't mind that. But when Trump gets real results, they act like it's a big problem. It's not a crisis. It's real leadership. And right on cue, here's CNN's Caitlyn doing what CNN always does, predicting Trump will fail, right before he proved them wrong.
Now, we're hearing incredibly optimistic views coming out of the White House as far as how long this can hold and what this is going to look like. That obviously still remains to be seen on the implementation side of this, and waiting to see if the firing does stop and if Iran and Israel do both agree to this. Because, you know, speaking of the fluidity of the situation, it was just 24 hours ago that President Trump himself was suggesting a regime change in Iran was a possibility. And obviously right before that, having the United States strike Iran. And so, yes, there have been a lot of phone calls going back and forth.
Caitlyn, I just been given word that Iran, according to a diplomat who briefed CNN, Iran has agreed to the ceasefire. So this is significant. I just want to try to learn some more information as soon as we get it about that. But if that is the case, that's incredibly significant, because that is, we were waiting. We had not heard from Iran. We had not heard from Israel. All we were going on so far has been the president's social media post, which was some 2 hours ago. So again, that is the first indication we have that Iran has agreed to this.
It was like watching CNN's story fall apart live on TV. Caitlyn Collins was in the middle of doubting Trump's ceasefire when Anderson Cooper interrupted her to say that Iran had just accepted it. That's what happens when Trump actually gets results. CNN ends up looking clueless. If Biden were in charge, we get long speeches about nuance and diplomacy. But with Trump, there's a peace deal before CNN can even finish criticizing him. This isn't just bias, it's embarrassing. And the funniest part? They keep going. Even after a guest confirms a ceasefire, Erin Burnett still insists it's not real.
Against it. And certainly right now, Erin, the Iran saying that their retaliation is going to continue and that their retaliation, if anything, is going to become more intense. Of course, one of the things that we heard is that the Iranians believe that they are in a conflict both with Israel and the United States, feeling that Israel has dragged the United States into a conflict directly with Iran, Erin.
All right, Fred Pleitgen, thank you so much. Of course, the literal eyes and ears on the ground to hear those explosions. I want to go now to Barak Ravid, our political and global affairs analyst. Also joining us, of course, retired General Mark Kimmett, former Assistant Secretary of State. He oversaw policy here in the Middle East. And here with me in the UAE, along the Strait of Hormuz, Paula Juan-Cox, our correspondent, who knows this region better than anyone. Barak, I just want to start with you, though. I know you have some new reporting. What are you learning right now?
Today, when after the Iranian attack on the El Udeid base, Iranian officials sent a message to the White House through the Qataris saying, we're done. This is our response. We're not going to do anything further. The White House sent a message back through the Qataris. We are not, if you're done, we are not going to retaliate, and we want to talk. We want to now get a deal. In the hours since then, there were talks between the U.S. and Israel and Qatar and Iran to tie the final knots and agree on the final conditions of this ceasefire.
All right, and obviously all very significant developments. Paula, of course, all happening as Barak is laying out over several hours. We have not yet heard from the Israelis or the Iranians. Literally what we are hearing actually is explosions in Tehran right now that Fred is reporting.
Watching the mainstream media fall into their own traps is almost sad. Almost. Erin Burnett starts her segment by saying the ceasefire isn't real. Then her own guest calmly says it is, and that it was helped by Trump and arranged through Doha. It's like the anchors just ignore anything that doesn't match their script. Even when the facts are clear, they just deny it. That's not journalism. That's denial. Trump ended a crisis without a single American death, and CNN can't handle it. No amount of spin can hide how badly they got it wrong again. What do you think? Did Trump just embarrass CNN by pulling off another foreign policy success they said was impossible? Tell us in the comments. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. This has been News. Thanks for watching.